Well, happy holidays, deeper being ladies. This is just in support of your home practice over the holidays when we don't have the time to get together, and I'll be thinking about you on your mat. And this will be pretty brief, so feel free to pause it at any moment and go, oh, okay, I'm going to work on that for a bit, and then you can turn it back on again. But remember to take the time when you sit down to open your ritual practice, whatever that might be for you. And for me, I'm just going to draw my hands together, take a full breath in, a full breath out. Just setting my intention for, yes, I'm spending this time on the mat right here in support of women that I love. All right, so ritual movements that we do often, the same thing over and over, and slowly over time things evolve. So don't be thinking that things need to shift every day, and things can shift every day. But if this supports you, just find your roller and work on that area between the shoulder blades. You know how to do that. This is less pressure, curled up like this, and this is more pressure, opened up like this. Usually hips and heart about the same level here. Now, when you've been on one side for a while, give yourself the time to roll into one shoulder blade and then over toward the armpit more, maybe even springing that arm onto the floor, supporting your head and coming all the way in. Breath, tension, pausing anywhere it feels like, oh boy, I need to be right there for a little bit, right? And breathing. So releasing the upper thoracic spine. To release the lower thoracic spine, go to the bottom tips of the shoulder blades and then totally curl up. Elbows close, chin tucked. Here you go, just like this. Now, this is super vulnerable here. So spend way less time here than you did above. And if you want to explore the outer edges of it, maybe the knees can go over a ½ inch. They don't need to do much. So working there on the last 5 ribs, releasing. After you've released all the rib cage, you can let your elbows just nestle behind. Take a full breath in and then just flip over the top. See, I'm not on my sacrum yet because I'm working in the area between the pelvis and the rib cage. There's usually some gnarly little spots in there. Spend more time on the side that needs it. Knees in close, less pressure. Knees up to the ceiling, more pressure. So just deciding what you need. And then finally, coming in and really doing a good rock and roll on the sacrum. Now this is a beautiful place to also do some stretches of the large muscles that attach the legs to the pelvis, but it actually feels better if you do that after you've done a little bit more releasing. So we'll come back to that, if I remember. If I don't, yep, it'll be missing. So when we get the legs, come mid-quad, make sure you're not all hammocked out, that you really draw up and in, and really get the whole area between the kneecap and the groin. For me lately, I've been really needing to go over the pubic bone and more into the groin space. There's some really good stuff in here. Especially for me, post-op here, I'm really discovering the right side needs this. Not only that, something we haven't worked on in class that I've been working on, I'm letting my left leg come over the top and I'm rolling the inner thigh more. And I've done that before, but right now I'm needing it. So you might want to try this. Maybe a new exploration for you. Lots of breath needed right there. So that really gets the front of the legs and the inner leg. When you're ready, come mid-thigh, press into the hand, and really start working the side of the leg. Partly on the side, and then all the way on the side. Maybe your leg is up here. Just pausing anywhere you need to breathe, feel, and release. Take your time, make it happen. After that, you might go up and over, kneecaps, and explore. I actually like taking a moment and going, oh, child's pose, oh. Feels so good here. And then letting my hip shift to one way or the other is going to get the outer shin really well. After I get the outer shin, we've been doing this as a part of the ritual lately, curling the toes under and inviting the bottom of the foot to stretch out, breathing right there. knowing that it's actually going to be a little more pressure if you let go of the roller and you hang out here, whatever it takes. Maybe you need to be forward some. Just you want that edgy sensation in the toes. When you've done that, then for some people, a lot of edginess just right here. We've played around with different things. You can put a blanket here, a roller here if that's too much for your quads. But if you feel like, oh, I need more stretch at the front of the ankle, then you need to lift a little bit in here. And maybe you can lift enough that you can slip the roller into there. But looking for sensation in front of the ankle, for some of you, this is all about the stretch to the quads. And that's good too. So spending a little time right there. That's it on the roller, except for it would be really nice now to come in and do a little bit of stretching for those legs. We've rolled them out some, so you might come back and spend some moments with the back and the hamstrings. You can do them both at once, almost like you're coming into plow. You can do one at a time if that feels better to you. You can do a figure 4 right here. Looking for sensation here. You can cross the legs deeply and hold on to the shins or the feet, coming in deeply to more deep rotator stretch. This is a great place to get a starting stretch on the psoas, even though we haven't released the front body, and it might feel better to do this after you do some work in the front, but here it is, right? And lately, inner thigh, another variation I've been doing with my knees bent to start and getting that good sensation in here, because this right hip is a little touchy, and I noticed that if I add the lower leg in right away, it's just too much. So I'll stretch a little bit here first, and then add the weight of the lower leg to intensify the stretch. And anything you want to make up here, just enjoy and play. This is the easy way to come out. And so we'd be done with the roller, and then you might think, well, for the last few weeks in the ritual, we've been going a little deeper with the tennis balls, going down the spine with them. We've been enjoying holding onto those balls and getting the suboccipital area right and left really well. Rolling a hand towel here, you can spend a lot of time in this place, and finally flicking the balls underneath. And you know, there's so many ways you can do this, but wiggling has been what it's been about for me lately. I'm supporting my head with my hands so I can move freely and get the shoulders moving. Sometimes I like to be here and get the arms moving. If your chin is pointed up like this, either put a pillow behind your head or support your head in your hands so the face can be parallel to the floor at all times. And then you can go all the way down the spine, that's for sure, but most of us need to focus especially in that mid-back between the shoulder blades. Now, what we played with last time, when you get to that very last rib, we know that is around where psoas begins, and what a nice moment to have a little manual contact with that muscle. So maybe some stroking while you're here, and the ball moves down into that lumbar space. So you're getting pressure from behind and also starting to identify the length of that psoas. Remember, it goes all the way to the inner thigh, but we can feel it in here. One way to know that you're on it is to have your hands right on it. Pick up the foot, see if you feel the muscle pop up in your hand. If you want to get a little bit more serious while those balls are in there, you can do cross-friction massage across the muscle. Both of them need it. You're looking for any tender spots. There's one right there where you just might stay and breathe. So it's a stroke from the midline out, 2-3 inches out. Both sides, just checking it out. Really nice while the balls are in there. And then you can take that ball and you can bring it underneath your sacrum. Oh, it feels so good. You can be there and wiggle away. You can be here and wiggle away. You can even turn those balls 90 degrees and stroke back and forth across those hips. Some really nice release there is available. So, yes, after that, you might take that purple ball and go, okay, I've been releasing everything, but what I haven't gotten to yet is this whole area in here. I did a little bit with my hands, but you might put that ball down and play around with releasing in this region. Looking for tenderness on the right or tightness on the left. Wherever you feel sensation, that's a good place to pause. Also, like if I have a lot of sensation right there, I might curl my toes under, stretch the femur way out of the pelvis. Breathe, hang out. Some of you have been enjoying even deeper pressure in the same region using the balls going down. All good alternatives. You've got your hands, you've got the balls, you've got the ball. After you've done that for a bit, it's really quite a treat to come into a nice twisting stretch so I can just lengthen out through one side and then press myself up. Oh, I was really noticing this the other day in my practice. It was so nice to have a block here to have my head on because that freed up my bottom shoulder and I could get it out from under me so much easier here. So top knee's bent, bottom leg is straight. This arm is deciding what it wants to do, but hopefully I'm finding some sensation deep in that psoas as it goes on a big stretch in this shape. Some of you, it's available to hold on to the ankle on this side and just enjoying that on both sides after you've done this release work. Now, you're in the prime moment for activating and waking up some core stability now. So let's take advantage of that. I have a block here. I love starting on the ball. So the ball underneath the sacrum, all right? There it is. Exhale. Think about the psoas. Snugging up close to the spine. You can stay right here and practice. Nothing else is needed. But if you want to work a little bit harder, you exhale. At the end of the exhale, you can gently pick up that foot. And then gently pick up the other one. Not too much else is needed because we're trying to keep from wobbling on that ball. Some of you might get really strong and be able to do this, but no movement on the ball. Now I can do that on my left side, but look at the right. It fails right about there. So that's about as far as I go. Actually, this though is really kind of fun and doable. No wobble, exhaling, finding stability. Make sure you're not finding stability with this move. Watch. Watch my belly. Right? Always the belly is going down. Always down. If we're pooching it up, we're starting to use the surface muscles. So you play around with the ball for a little bit, you ditch the ball, you do the exact same thing, and now your entire focus is on the sacrum. Can I actually do something with this foot and not rock on the sacrum? Remember, the last half of the exhale is your moment to really make it happen. So a little bit of play there. And then we can go into a little bit of bridging. We were playing with this our final week with the support of the block. We can be in a nice bridge and do the same thing. Can I think about picking a foot up without getting heavy on the sacrum on one side or the arm on one side? So same practice. You might not even pick the foot up. It might just be exhale and think about picking up the foot, and that can be plenty. After I've done that a little bit with the block, I might take the block out and practice the same thing. Lots of work available there. You decide how hard you want to work and for how long. Keep pushing your edges and your core will get stronger and stronger. When you're done, you come right out of that shape and we come right over to hands and knees. Give yourself a little padding. Be kind to your knees. In a tabletop position, your hands are underneath you. Nice long spine, crown straight out. You might cat-cow a little bit just to make sure that you're finding that nice neutral spine, somewhere in between cat and cow. The practice here can be this simple. You exhale, you snug your psoas up, you cup your fingers on one side. So much is going on there. You might think that this looks easy, but if you're really paying attention and not pooching your belly out, drawing it up, using the psoas, a lot is going on here. If this starts feeling doable and you want to try this, by all means. Same thing on the leg. When you exhale, you cinch up, draw in, and see if you can keep everything stable and curl the toes under. Maybe you can do this, and maybe you can do this. Maybe you can add the opposite cupping, maybe the opposite arm. You don't have to get anywhere. You simply have to feel like, wow, I'm really working in here. The last thing we'll do, we'll give you an opportunity to really work hard if you want to. You're really ready for it at this point. So it's a much wider stance. The hands are in front of the shoulders. And I learned to inhale and draw the hips back, but not in child's pose. This is extended puppy pose. The perineum is wide open as I inhale. As I exhale, the psoas draws right to center, and I'm able to take weight. My shoulders come over my wrists, but here's where I'm not. I'm not like this, right? It's just straight modified plank. If you need help sighting that, have somebody in the house look at you and see if you're straight from the back of your knees all the way to your crown. There shouldn't be any angles in there. So you can inhale back, and then you can exhale forward. I found that if I really make the breath audible on all of these things, there's a lot more power generated. So audible like that, or even audible with a oh, some crazy noise, because you can generate more power when you can actually hear your breath, either with sound or just the sound of the breath. Now, if this starts getting easy, you might add in a little micro bend in the elbows, but here's where I'm not. I'm not here. I'm also not here, right? It has to be contained like this, and you can go as low as you can if you can keep it together. So rocker, right? You might do this for a couple minutes back and forth with your breath if you really want to build some power. So those are truly the basics, and you might choose to end your ritual there. I'm sorry, and not even do things in standing, but you could decide, I'm going to add a little bit more on to plank, to dog, play around with downward facing dog for a little bit. Just be there, be long, maybe get rid of your props, walk yourself in, play a little bit with a forward fold, Uttanasana, knees bent so I can just feel into it. When I'm ready to rise, inhaling, coming all the way up and all the way through. We were playing the last couple of weeks with weight shifting. How do I exhale and shift weight onto one foot? This is walking. This is everything, right? And still maintain. Same thing here. Exhaling, maintaining. And then in the last 3 classes, I think we worked with a flow, and I'll just take us through it here. You can do it at home or not, but here you are in a nice wide base, a good 4.5 feet. You can turn, say, the left foot out. We'll just do the one side here. Play with your pelvis a little bit, see if it's gonna move some. Know that the heart center needs to be straight ahead, even though the pelvis is a little bit caca, right? So guide that left knee out so that it's right. You can still see the big toe. Right? Once it's there, bring your hands back to your heart, get yourself centered here. And here's where you can actually turn the palms up, feel the shoulder blades drift down the back body, turn the palms down, and then start with your breathing, right? Really feeling, where is my support coming from? Warrior 2. Finding, when you're ready, an inhale will take you to reverse warrior, still looking for support here. Coming back through warrior 2. Exhaling, bending the front elbow, staying nice and long through here, not allowing yourself to crunch down through there. Getting that heart center forward, maybe coming into extended angle pose, looking for your support, looking for weight on the outer border of the back foot, right? Integrity, inhaling your way up, coming center, maybe heel toeing back to center, finding Tadasana, just feeling yourself there, maybe shaking things out a little bit. Somehow finding a way to come back down to the mat. The final stretch that we were working on a lot in the last few weeks was finding support at the wall. Coming in nice and close, so those feet are going to be super firm. I'm going to take 2 blocks, put them under the sacrum. It can be done with 1. I'm going to press my feet into the wall, whoa, and come nice and straight. So I get this nice, good extension through the back body and the front body, both. This is where I have been doing a lot of massage in my belly for my own healing and to play with areas that are still tender and sore. And then finally, I just give it up. I might do Shavasana right here. You might also, or you might decide, oh, that's enough of that. And you come down and out. And big invitation to do Shavasana with the feet at the wall for a few precious moments of just integrating and letting go. And when you feel complete there, finding a way to come over onto your side, coming right back to where you began your ritual, and making sure that you take a moment to give it a close. Hands at heart center, full breath in, full breath out. Deeply grateful for your presence in my life. Namaste.